All right, let's dive right in because this story, wow, it's like something out of a spy movie, but it's right here in the book of Acts. We've got a secret plot, a hero you'd never expect, and this incredible last-second rescue. It's all about an ambush that was stopped by, well, nothing short of divine design.
So here's how we're going to walk through this. We'll start with his crazy vow to kill Paul. Then we'll see how someone just happens to overhear the plot. From there, we'll follow the message as it gets to the right people, see this unbelievable escort that's formed, and finally, how the whole mission gets saved. It's quite a ride.
Okay, so to really get this, you gotta know what just happened. Paul has just made it through this totally chaotic hearing with the Sanhedrin, and right after, he gets this promise directly from the Lord, like, don't worry, you're going to Rome. You'd think things would calm down, right? Nope. The very next morning, something really dark starts brewing in the shadows.
And we're not talking about just a couple of guys who are upset. No. The scale of this thing is huge. We're talking about more than 40 men, a whole group totally fanatical, and they have one single goal: kill Paul.
And get this, their commitment is, honestly, it's chilling. They took an oath, a solemn vow, that they wouldn't eat or drink anything until Paul was dead. Think about that. This isn't just some plan they cooked up. This is a life or death, all-in kind of deal.
You know, there's a specific word for this kind of oath. It's called an anathema. And this is so important to understand. It's basically a curse they put on themselves. They were so sure that killing Paul was God's will that they were literally willing to bet their own souls on it. If they failed, they believed God himself would curse them. That's how serious this was.
So how were they going to do it? The plan was pretty sneaky, and it went all the way to the top. Step 1. Get the Sanhedrin, the High Council, to ask the Romans for another meeting with Paul. They'd pretend they just had a few more questions. Step 2. While Paul's being moved from the barracks to the meeting, bam, the 40-plus guys jump him. It's an ambush. On paper, it was a perfect, inescapable trap.
But this is where the whole thing just flips on its head. This perfectly planned, top-level assassination plot, it's about to come completely undone. And the person who unravels it all, you will not see this coming. So you have to ask yourself, right? Think about it. You've got over 40 guys waiting to kill you, and the highest religious court is in on it. How in the world could Paul possibly get out of this? The odds are just impossible. There's no way out. The answer? Paul's nephew. Just some kid. We don't even get his name. He's this seemingly random, insignificant person who just happens to be in the exact right place at the exact right time to hear everything. And this is such a classic move, right? It just goes to show how God so often uses the people you'd least expect to do the most incredible things.
Okay, so the kid knows the secret. But that's only half of it, isn't it? Knowing the plan is one thing, stopping it is another. The information has to get to the right people. And what happens next is amazing, because it shows you not just how brave this nephew was, but also how smart and strategic Paul was, even locked up as a prisoner. So let's trace the steps here. The nephew overhears the plan. Then he does something incredibly gutsy. He walks right into a Roman military barracks to find Paul. And what does Paul do? He doesn't just sit there and hope for the best. No, he acts. He calls for a centurion, an officer, and basically says, "You need to get this kid to your commander." He's using the official Roman chain of command to save his own skin. It's brilliant.
So what does the Roman commander do? Now, we got to be clear here. This guy, Claudius Lysias, he's not having some big spiritual awakening. He's a Roman official. His job is to keep the peace and protect a Roman citizen, which Paul is. He's just being pragmatic. But here's the amazing part. God uses that very practical, by-the-book response as the tool for Paul's miraculous rescue.
And the commander, he gets it immediately. He knows this is serious, so he starts putting together an escort. First up, 200 foot soldiers. But that's not enough. To that, he adds 70 horsemen.
And he's still not done. He throws in another 200 spearmen. Come on, this isn't an escort, it's a small army.
You do the math on that. That is 470 soldiers. 470. Think about that. 40 guys make a vow to kill Paul, and God's response is to send 470 armed guards to protect him. It's this huge, overwhelming physical display of protection, and it all came about because a Roman commander just didn't want a riot on his hands. Absolutely incredible.
So, what's the end result of all this?
Well, the plan to kill Paul, it doesn't just fail, it backfires in the most spectacular way possible. The very thing designed to end his life in Jerusalem is what actually springs him from jail and gets him safely on his way.
And that's the beautiful divine irony of it all, isn't it? The bad guys wanted to stop Paul's mission for good. But what actually happened? God used their evil plan to give Paul a first-class protected ticket out of town, moving him closer to his ultimate destination, Rome. The very thing they did to try and stop God's plan became the engine that drove it forward.
So what does this mean for us today? Well, there are a few big things here. First, keep your eyes open. God can use anyone, even the people you least expect, like Paul's nephew. Second, when you see something, say something. Don't be afraid to speak up. Also, remember that God can use any authority to accomplish His will, even secular ones. And finally, think of God's protection not just as something that keeps you safe, but as something that keeps you going on the mission He has for you.
And that really leaves us with one last question to chew on. Just think about your own life for a second. The challenges you're facing, the things you feel called to do. Where might God be placing an unlikely hero in your path? An unexpected person, a strange circumstance that is actually there to protect His mission for you. It's a pretty powerful idea, something to think about for sure. Thanks for tuning in.